Get ready to get sticky. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Corona Crush is creating Jewish couples always. Join the Facebook group. Just search Corona Crush and look out for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. They're 100% free and 100% Jewish. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sticky Situations. I'm your host, Rachel, which obviously you already know because I'm unforgettable. Whatever platform you're listening on right now, if you are not already subscribed or following, go hit that follow or subscribe button. Give us a 5-star rating and a glowing review. Honestly, you can also comment, at least on Spotify, you can comment on the episodes. I love seeing your comments, so please comment. Go follow Sticky Situations Pod on Instagram. Follow Sticky Situations Pod on TikTok. Maybe one day I'll eventually get back to posting the TikToks. If you would like to be a guest on my podcast, I'm always looking for more guests. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear from you. So if you've been a listener and you're like, oh, maybe I should tell my stories, like reach out. I want to have you. There are applications in all of my Corona Crush posts, as well as you can also just send me a DM on Instagram at Sticky Situations Pod or send me an email at stickysituationspod@gmail.com. Same goes for if you would like to date any of my single guests. If anyone who says that they are single seems like they would be a good match for you, please feel free to reach out and I will try my best. I make no promises, but I'll always try. Today, we have an extra special episode. I have an extra special guest. I'm so excited to welcome the Kosher Medium, Bev Mann. Bev is an author and spiritual medium. Her traditional Jewish upbringing contributed to her spiritual connection. She's a medium, healer, spiritual coach, and author. She's been working in the space for over 20 years, and we're so excited to have her and hear about all of her experiences and also her own dating stories. So, everyone, please welcome Bev. Bev, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really super excited for this afternoon. So thank you very much.
I'm so excited to have you. I've been looking forward to this episode. So, Bev, I know I gave like a really brief intro, but is there anything you wanted to elaborate on in telling my listeners who you are and about your work?
Okay, so where do I start? It's such a long story, but my name is Bev Mann. I'm based in London, the UK, and I am a spiritual medium or clairvoyant medium, whatever you want to call it. And ever since a little girl, I used to have an experiences of people in my room, people trying to connect with me, sitting at the bottom of my bed. I used to freak my parents out quite a lot. My parents were very traditional Jewish family in a very Jewish area in London. And my mum like just didn't know how to deal with it. My dad was far more spiritual. And it wasn't until much later on that I realized that it wasn't quite normal what was happening to me. And I was always very different at school, and I didn't know the reason why I was different. And I do understand now that to do this work, you have to be really sensitive to be able to connect in with the other world. So, and then let me just say for right from the outset that there is nothing scary about it because I love ones that pass to spirit. They come with so much love, and I always joke you far more chance of being hurt by people on the earth plane, as we all know from experiences with people, than those that love because they just want to walk with us and protect us and let us know that they're still around. So that's the work that I do.
It's
So, but
amazing.
obviously, it's gone in a completely different direction in the last couple of years. So, the reason being is that after being married for 28 years, I decided that it really wasn't working for me anymore. It wasn't aligning with my true self. I didn't feel like I was living my truth. And I won't go into all the details, but I knew that I needed a fresh start in life. So I got divorced at quite a later age, which I think is really very common now. You know, people that when you get married and you're in your 20s, and then when you get to like your 50s, sometimes, you know, as much as you care and you love each other, you're going in separate directions. It's like pathways, and sometimes you either grow together or you grow apart. And I was going very much down the spiritual route, whereas my husband, in his work, he said I can't be oversensitized to those sort of things. And he was very much in the business world and finance and fast cars and nice holidays, and which of course I love all that, but there is that human element, that human touch that I'm doing in my work that kind of put a whole new spin on my life, meeting people that didn't care what car I drove or what house I lived in, how big my diamond ring was, which we get a lot of that here in Northwest London. It didn't mean a stuff to me. So yeah, we were just misaligned as time went on. So we decided to part as friends. And then my dating life began, which started with my book. I'm known as the Kosher Medium. And a lot of my clients are Jewish, not only because I live very much in a Jewish area, but when I started writing the books, my co-author, who was also an author for a very world famous medium back in the last century, a very famous lady called Doris Stokes. I don't know if some of your readers, if they're into spiritualism, they would understand about that. About her, she was very famous, and for Voices in Her Ears. And she did a lot of performances worldwide in big theatres and wrote a lot of books. And a lot of my friends said to me, "Oh, you remind me of Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium. You like the Northwest London medium." And at the time I had red hair. I've gone back to blonde now. So, but I said, "Oh, you like her with the hair and the nails and but instead of being Long Island, you're Jewish, you like your Northwest London." So that's where I got the name, hashtag the kosher medium. And the book that I just written, my second book, is called Swipe Right, the Kosher Medium Goes Dating. And the strapline is Confessions of a Psychic Looking for Love, because it's a little bit of a send up about myself, Rachel, because even being a psychic, I say I'm a great medium. And that's not coming from ego. I'm a good medium, but I'm not a good psychic, because if I was a good psychic, I would be able to distinguish and see those red flags coming from a mile away. And I just so it's a send up on myself. My first book was all about my life growing up, like I was talking about from a little girl, which is called Spirit Scandal and Sparkly Shoes, because I'm very well known for my sparkly shoes. You can't see it, guys, but I'll show Rachel
Oh, they're
sparkly
very
shoes. I'm
pretty.
wearing
I love
sparkly boots right
sparkles.
now. So I'm well known for that. The scandal being about I was asked by the spiritual union that in order to progress my studies into spiritualism, I needed to denounce my religion to walk away from Judaism, which I was not prepared to do. So that
Oh,
was
wow.
really massive. They tried to retract it, but they couldn't because I had it in email. But basically, I would never shy away. I'm so proud of being Jewish. So my first book, Spirit Scandal and Sparkly Shoes, Confessions of a Kosher Medium, was to lift the lid on the truth, why I walked away from my marriage, why I walked away from spiritualism, and my sparkly shoes, and growing up and becoming from a small, terrified child to a world-renowned medium. So they're the two books.
Wow. And everyone can find them on Amazon if you're in America, and I would recommend reading them. So, but yeah, we're so honored to have Bev here to tell a little bit of her story and some of her dating experiences and her medium experiences.
Yeah, I've taught a lot in America as well. I've done a lot of workshops. I've done a lot in Boston. I did some actual services before in Salem, which was a wonderful place. I really like that. There's nothing witchy
Oh, wow.
about it, but I loved it. It's not as dark as what people make out. I loved it. So I've done a little bit all over. And I do a lot of teaching, and most of my readings now are online via Zoom. So nowadays, you can reach so many people through the power of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, we're here now, which is amazing. I'm in New York, you're in Northwest London, and we're connecting, we're recording a podcast. But I'll link all of Bev's information. So if any of you do want to book her for a reading, I'll put all the information in the show notes so
Thank
everyone can look.
I mean, what I always say to everyone is, I'm not a fortune teller. You like,
Yeah.
lots of people think, oh, psychic medium, she's a fortune teller. I don't believe in that. Or that, like I look everything up about the person. Let me tell you, I do not have time to investigate people before they come for a reading. I don't want to know anything about anyone. All I need is like a first name and that's it. And I work purely inspirationally. I don't even need someone in the same room as me. I just connect in with their loved ones because for me it has to be like an artist with a complete clear palette, like I don't know who I'm reading for. So yeah, it's there. I work with complete integrity in that respect.
Yeah, wow. It's really cool. I never really got so into any of this. I actually a few years ago, I was going through a bad time, and my one of my friends took me to a Kabbalist who like also it's not I know it's not the same, but who like looked in the book and like told me things. At the time it made me feel better. I don't know how much I believed it, but it's always interesting to see and like connect with spirituality, and it definitely can help at a time, at least from my own personal experience. It really helped me, like it just helped bring me out of that dark place that I was in. Whether or not things come true, I don't know. Nothing's happened yet,
I always
but we'll see.
believe that you are guided to the right place. So, you think that it comes from you, but it doesn't. I do believe our guides and our loved ones, they will push you in the right direction for whatever you need. So, and we call that when you go through a difficult time, we call it the dark night of the soul. I don't know if anyone's heard of that terminology, but it truly is like the dark night of the soul when you just don't know who you are or where you're going. And I think that's the best time for you to have that growth spurt where you
Yeah.
act. And I'm not talking about physical growth, I'm talking about spiritual growth because it's when you're really down and you have to learn to pick yourself up. You have to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly about yourself and learn from your mistakes because that's what we're here for. We're here to learn from our mistakes. Otherwise, how do we progress in life?
Yeah, exactly. I really believe that throughout life we're trying to constantly grow and become better people. I mean, that's what people should be doing. Some people don't do that. But at least my personal journey, I try to continuously become a better version of myself and take those steps spiritually, mentally, physically to be the best me that I can be. And I don't know if you agree with me working in the spiritual realm. I do believe that the energy you put out into the world is what you get back. So,
Then I was talking about that on a little Facebook and Instagram post, which is going out very shortly, funnily enough. And I was talking, and I must tell you a dating story. Remind me later about
yes.
Medium because I've got so many funny
No,
stories.
I want to hear all your
That's
stories.
why, I know I've sort of digressed because I wanted to explain what I do so that
Yeah.
people understand what I do and how even a medium, when it comes to dating, gets it spectacularly wrong. I'm like the Lucille Ball of dating. So anyone remembers Lucille Ball? Oh, actually, they said it as well. I remind them of Bridget Jones, like I'm the real Bridget Jones, come, Jewish. But I don't know if you want to talk about the dating stories now or you want to talk about the self-worth thing because that has been very much about where my work is going. Because obviously, like I've been divorced now nearly 10 years and I've had some real tough lessons about self-worth. People who feel like they've been rejected in life or things aren't going their way. And very much about the energy that we put out there because everything is energy. So I don't know if you want to talk about that now or whether should I get right into my little dating story?
Yeah, why don't we tell a story and then we'll go back into I'm sure one of your stories will also lead back into the discussion.
Well, this one I actually is in my book Swipe Right. So I work very much on energy. So sometimes I can look on a face and when you're swiping, I tend to look in the eyes because we all say the eyes are the windows to the soul. So if there's anyone with sunglasses, guys out there and ladies, if you've got your sunglasses on, it's a swipe left. because what are you hiding behind the glasses? We can all look cool, but you need to have at least one with your glasses. And please, in the last few months, do not post, when you're a little bit older, you get guys with different decades, that's really funny. Like, you even get one of them in their teenage years in a pair of Speedos. And like, they're coming around against Speedos, but like, what is that about? Like, with hair, without hair, like, who are you? So anyway, I'll go back to the story. So I swiped on this guy and we got talking, and he said he's very spiritual, blah, blah, blah. And he was telling me about his sister that I knew. And then we made a date to meet up in a local pub, a local bar down the road from where I live. And because I always meet guys out, like, first
Yeah.
time you meet someone or even second, I'm really quite private about that kind of thing as to where you live. And so I was going to arrange to meet him out. And then the night before, I got into bed and I was sleeping all soundly in my bed, all tucked up. And all of a sudden, it felt like it wasn't a dream. This man came right up to my face. This older man, he looked about 70 or 80 years old, and he was staring at me, really staring at me. And it was like, and I've obviously through the years, I've got to differentiate between what's real, what's the dream, or what's happening out there. Like, is it a spirit person coming to me? And this man was like being really nosy. So in the end, I said, just go away. This is my time, which is what I do. I say, this is my time. I'm sleeping. So the next day, I go for the date. I'm talking to this guy, and he was saying, oh, my dad was really spiritual. I said, oh, really? Yeah. He said, yeah, he was really interested in spiritualism and clairvoyancy. And I said, that's great. And then it came to me, and I said to him, oh, do you have a picture of him?
Oh my gosh.
And he showed me this guy. I mean, he's a Jewish guy, right? He shows me a picture of his father, and his father was who's in spirit. His father died like 20 odd years prior, and his father had come to see me. I said, "Oh my God." And I knew that he was receptive because we'd been speaking for like half an hour about he was interested in my work. And I said to him, look, I don't want to freak you out, but I think your father came to visit me last night. He goes, oh, yeah, he would. Yeah, he'd be really interested. He'd probably really like you, and he'd think that we were a great match. And so he wasn't really freaked out about it. I think I was more freaked, like, who is this man, like, coming to see me in the middle of my sleep? So,
That's
yeah,
funny. Did you continue to date him?
I did. I saw him for quite a few months afterwards. It didn't work out, but, we kept friends. But it was so funny. I've had that a couple of times where people will come and visit me before, and I go, no, not your time yet. Come back later.
That's funny. It's
But
it's
never
really
on a
interesting.
dating, never with a date, like, I mean, especially being Jewish, I think all our, if we've got late parents in the spirit world, like, of course they want to see who you're dating. But this was like a little bit over the top.
Yeah, that is funny. But
So,
do you, in general, I know you said like when you're swiping, you try to look in the person's eyes and see it. Do you usually let the spiritual guide you in like saying yes to a date, or you kind of just if you do feel something, then yeah, but if not, then you just see how it is?
oh,
Like how does that work?
I've got really another lovely story actually, as you asked me that question. So I swiped on a guy because it was on Bumble. I assume you have Bumble there in the States, like dating
Yeah.
app,
Yeah,
Bumble.
I don't really use it, but
So I'm
yeah.
on Bumble, and we all actually occasionally get people from the States in there. And I could see he was a Jewish guy. So obviously, like, oh, someone Jewish, God, that's really something. Well, I'm not sure if he's really for me. He looks a bit old because I'm really like very young-minded. And I thought, oh, what the hell, I'll swipe on him. And we got talking, and then all of a sudden, I had this feeling that he'd been in prison.
Oh my gosh.
Because he started talking about stuff, and it was almost like I heard a voice in my ear, Rachel go, he's been inside, which we say inside. I don't know if you say the same, like in prison.
Wow.
So and we got to, and then afterwards, I I asked him, I said to him, like, I can't remember how I worded it, obviously in a very discreet way. And he said, well, how did you know that? And I said, well, I work as a medium, so I'm a bit psychic. And he was a bit freaked out by it. But I decided not to see him because obviously he hadn't told the truth of who he was. Not
Yeah.
because he'd been to prison, but he hadn't been open about it. There are guys that have been unfortunate circumstances. You cannot hold someone to their past mistakes. But when someone tries to conceal the truth, it's a no-go for me. Red flag.
Yeah, I'm 100%. It's funny. It's great that like even if people aren't honest with you, you can still kind of know. Like I I know people have tells when they're not you can tell kind of like when someone's hiding something, but I wish I had the ability to be like, "Oh, yeah, that's
Everybody
what they're
does.
hiding."
But everybody does. You see, you and we, everybody has been brought up, educated to understand that we have five senses. We have so many more senses. Where do you get déjà vu from? And that feeling that you've been somewhere before, you've met someone before, or you walk in a room and you don't feel it's right, or you're looking for a home to buy or to rent and you get a good feeling about it. We have so many inherent gifts that, and that's what teach. I teach psychic ability as well. Like before people go into mediumship, I make them do psychic development. And where you can do things even like remote viewing, but that's another subject, remote viewing. But you think about spies, they do remote viewing. Anyway, that's another subject. But you are capable of so many things. You've got so many more senses. And us as humans, we don't trust our intuition. How many times do we swipe on someone or we go on a date with someone and we know that it's not going to work out or there's something about somebody that's not sitting quite right, but we still go anyway? We don't listen to our gut feeling. And I think sometimes is because there's a lesson to be learned. We came here, like I said earlier, with a sole purpose and lessons to be learned. And sometimes we need to go with the narcissists and, people that have treated us badly because then we know what we don't want. You don't know what you do want until you have experience of what you don't want. So, and everything is energy. So I do believe we have an aura.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go into the teaching mode, but your aura says so much about you. And I think that when someone wears glasses, like sunglasses like that, like I said before, what they're trying to hide, you can tell someone's vibe. It's the same thing. You're picking up on their vibe, which is their energetic magno, whatever you call it. But you are a magnetic force, and what you vibrate is what we're going to talk about later. Is what you vibrate is what people pick up on. So. And I think you're not just going on looks. Like you might think, oh, that one's quite cheeky, or I like his vibe from what he's saying. But not everyone tells the truth in what they're saying. So you have to look beyond the cloak.
Yeah. And I think eventually the truth does come out and you can't keep up with the lie. And I, whether someone's not being honest to you or not, you like, I had a situation where I'm like, were you not being honest to me or were you not being honest with yourself? And sometimes, like, truthfully, though, the whole time I knew the answer, but I was just, I think going back to what you said about not listening to our gut, sometimes, like, my gut is telling me no, but I second guess my gut and I want to get to a place where I know like I have the clarity and certainty that like yeah, my gut was right and this isn't going to work out because I don't know, I've had situations where I've wondered and I've regretted I maybe regretting is the wrong word, but I've wondered if I made the right decision and I kept second guessing myself and then I had a moment of clarity and I'm like, "No, I was right. This was my gut reaction." And although I did trust my gut, I just needed to like also see it a little bit more. I needed more than just that gut feeling. And
Yeah.
again, this wasn't for anything dangerous. If I'm gonna rephrase because this was just for something that like my gut feeling was this isn't my husband. Like saying nothing bad against the actual person. Like I wasn't in danger. It wasn't a bad situation. They just weren't the right person for me. But I have had situations where I met a person, I maybe not really on in the dating world, but just like have met people and I get a gut feeling like this is not someone you want to be around. Like they just give me this like uncomfortable gut feeling that I will always go by that. If I feel in my gut uncomfortable by somebody, I will always go by it. And
But
I'll tell other people.
yeah, and the
Like
thing
if
is,
somebody asks me.
even with the gut feeling, you can still go ahead with it, what I was saying before, because you want to see the outcome for yourself, but also that there are, like I said earlier too, there are lessons to be learned, and your soul needs to go through an experience like of rejection later on, or somebody who's controlling, so that you can take those lessons into the next relationship and know, when something isn't right. So it will help you with your choices later down the line. And that's what I found. Lessons are very hard, but until you have them, how can you learn and grow?
Yeah, it's true. And it helps us adapt into the people we're supposed to be. And one lesson, like, I don't know, like I was just in a situation and I knew from the beginning pretty much because I'd already been in a similar situation. And while the guy might have thought he was different, I knew in my gut that he was not different. And this was going to have the same outcome. And the situation, because I've already been there, I still gave him a little
Brilliant.
bit of,
Exactly. That's the point. You see, you can see it now. The God gives you these situations. It's like, right, Rachel, if you haven't quite learned that lesson, we're going to give it to you again in a different format. So with a different face, a different person, we're going to give you the same lesson and see if you have learned something. And if you haven't learned it, we're going to send a third one along and a fourth one along until you learn it. I never knew what a narcissist was because my ex-husband was not like that. I had no idea. I had no idea what someone was like with control and things like that. And my first relationship after I came out of my marriage was someone who, you get that love bombing as well. That's another thing when someone just completely bombs you with love, and then it's not actually love, it's like a control element. Then you realize, well, hang on a minute, this isn't all roses. There's something a little bit more sinister beyond this. And I don't mean sinister like you saying in a bad way, but it's
Mhm.
like it's too much. You need to be your own person as well. You can't just be part of a couple. You need to keep your individuality as well. So yeah, it's lessons learned, isn't it?
yeah, it's very much lessons learned. And I don't know. I think this time around, was able to, because I learned that lesson, I was able to stand firmer in what I was saying. And instead of letting things go on for as long as the last time and really having that difficult conversation where we're in this really hard place and I was absolutely crushed, I knew, and I stood firm the entire time. And it ended the same, and it ended after less than 2 months instead of 6 months. And you know what? At the end of the day, I always knew it was going to happen. So I'm fine.
Yeah.
And like,
And it's the same thing with dating. Like, I remember a very, very funny story. I went on a date with a guy and I just split up with someone and I knew it was going to be wrong. I just knew it. In fact, I thought I recognized him from past, like from when I was a teenager. And I don't know what made me go, we were going to meet in a really nice restaurant in town and I just thought, oh, you know what? I love that restaurant and it'll be a nice evening out and it doesn't have to always be a romantic ending. It could just be a friendship as well, because you can meet people through other people. And I'm waiting. This is such a funny story. It's in my book. And I'm waiting for this guy to turn up, and I just knew. And it was like, Bev, go for the door, go for the door. And I can see the waiter sort of He obviously knew whose table it was. He said, I'm eating this restaurant, and the maitre d' in the restaurant knows my favorite table, and I'll be there at X time. And I felt that the waiter was looking at me like as if he felt sorry for me. And I'm thinking, do I bolt or not? Anyway, the guy turns up, and it's like 2 years after COVID. And he turns up. I see this image of a guy through the restaurant window, the door, and it's all glass. And I can see a man with a mask. And I'm thinking, is this like karma? Because I was a little bit of an anti-vaxxer during COVID. I'm sorry to say it, but I was spiritually as to what I was receiving from the universe about what was going on. But again, different story. And this guy 2 years later is at the door and he's at my date and he's wearing a mask. And as he enters the restaurant and opens the door and starts walking towards me, I'm thinking, no. And I look down and not only is he wearing a mask, but he's also wearing rubber gloves, plastic
Oh
gloves.
no.
And I'm thinking, please God, take me out of this situation. Just open up the floor and swallow me. It was like the most difficult day I've ever done in my whole life. And it was like, oh, it's okay, I'll just have a drink. No, 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 we're going to eat. Okay, I just have a main course. And it's like, no, he ordered like 4 courses, wine, and
Oh no.
a whole lot, and
Oh
asking the
well,
waiter, not only that, could you pour my drink? And like the drink was not just wine, but it was Coke. And he's like asking the guy, like, didn't want to touch the bottle, like, pour my Coke. And it was like, oh my God, it was
did
the worst
he
experience
keep his
ever.
gloves on the whole time?
He came in and he cleaned his crockery and his cutlery and the glass, it's already on the table in a nice restaurant, the
Yeah.
glasses. So he took a serviette, a napkin, and cleaned them all. Cleaned mine as well.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
and then he did take them off.
Oh
He had to
gosh.
take the mask off. But it's got to be one of the worst dates I've ever been on.
Oh my gosh.
But when you don't listen to your gut, it doesn't matter, wherever you're going, like if you know the company's not going to be, but I never imagined it was. My friends just cracked up. And it was at that point they said, Bev, you've just got to write a book about your dating experience. I have got so many funny ones like that as well, but also life-changing ones.
I'm happy to hear any of the stories you want to tell. If I know the ones that you've told so far are like a little more funny, but if you wanted to tell like one of the life-changing ones, no pressure, but
Well, we were discussing before about God, the universe will keep showing you the same lessons until you learn them. And I think a lot of that, one of my hugest lessons, I think, in this lifetime now, is about self-worth.
yeah.
And that's where my advocacy is going now. I mean, I still love my mediumship, talking to the spirit world, and that's a gift that I have that I will never let go as long as they want me to be their ambassador and help get the messages across. In fact, a guy that I have been dating was telling me his story that he works driving people to their appointments for like dialysis and cancer care treatment. And so he does one end of the scale of life, and I was doing the other. We've only just recently connected, so still very early days. But anyway, I spoke to him yesterday, and he said, oh, I've got a patient in the car. She's quite interested in spirituality, and can she just sort of like talk and whatever? And as I'm like talking, like just saying hello, her grandmother came through. And I ended up giving her
Wow.
a message from her grandmother, and she was like crying. Her husband was crying because she was taking him to dialysis, and it's just amazing how the work that you can do, how you can heal people. So one kind of saying is that I've learned to respect myself and the work I do. And if people don't get it, that's absolutely fine. That's their business, not mine. But my biggest thing has been about self-worth. And I was with a guy for about 3 months and then he finished it. And then we happened to bump into each other literally a week or so later. And he asked me to go back with him. And we went back together for another year. And then the same thing happened. And that really was, for me, quite a life-changing event. It destroyed me at the time because I had come to really love him. And, he'd told me how much he loved me under the moon and stars on holiday just 2 weeks before he finished it.
Wow.
So that was really life-changing for me, was that I don't have to have nobody, I'm not saying I now, nobody should allow someone to put a value on you, on your self-worth. The only person that can value yourself is you. So I'm very much into empowering other people through the lessons that I've learned and the things that have happened to me. And we were talking about energy and energy not lying, and like when you're swiping and what vibe you're getting from people. And people do pick up your vibration because it starts how you think about yourself is what you're projecting out to the world. And love starts from within.
Yeah.
So I'm learned that I have to value myself as well. I was very much a people pleaser, and I still am, but I have to also start valuing myself and my own time too. And what anyone thinks of me is none of my business.
Yeah.
That's their. I love that
Honest,
expression. It's like none of your business, none of my business what you think of me, because I know who I am, and
yeah.
I don't need their opinion. They can keep it.
Yeah, I very much feel the same way. I know that sometimes, especially, I know I have hot takes. I know I have a big personality. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but honestly, I don't care because there are enough people. I'm genuinely myself, and there are enough people who do love me for me and who like me for me. It's like I don't need the people around who don't like me. Like, you don't like
Exactly.
me? You don't like
And
me?
that's
Okay,
my
great.
and
Bye.
that's 100% my message, that, like, if someone doesn't like you, that's your problem. It doesn't define, their opinion does not define you.
Yeah.
Like, goodbye, like shut the door and walk away. That's what I was doing a little video about on my Facebook and Instagram page, like, if the door's not opening, then slam it shut. Don't make a door open if it's not for you. If it's
Yeah.
not yours, it won't open. And I do believe as well that God hears conversations that we might not have been party to. We might not have heard those conversations, and they will take people away from you. So, as much as you're crying into your pillow about a relationship that didn't work out, you have to look at it that it was done by Hashem for your highest good.
Yeah. No, it's really hard to think that. It's funny. So last night I was doing like a little Q&A on the podcast page where people could send me anonymous questions and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. And one of the questions was like, how do you get over someone? And I mean, my real answer is I don't think you truly get over someone until you find someone else that you like better. But I do think how you move on from situations is time definitely helps and keeping busy. But really, like that's when I turn to God. And you guys know I'm modern Orthodox. I do think that I'm fairly observant. I am not the most observant person, but I do believe no matter your religious denomination and how you observe religion, God, the whole point of Judaism is that God's always there for you. And if you're mad at God, fine. I went through probably about a year where I was mad at God. I was furious at God. I didn't want to do what God wanted me to do because I was so mad. But there's also the dichotomy of, yeah, you can be mad and that's fine. But you can also, when you need to believe in something, there's something to believe in. And you have to believe that God is paving the path for you. And the there's the saying, it's like man's rejection is God's protection. And
I love, yeah.
you have to really believe, and it does help. And like I get it, like this is a little bit out of my element. Like my friends know that I can be a little bit just like straightforward and not like always looking like to the spiritual and things like this, that but it really has helped me in times where I just like don't know what else I can do. I turn to God, I turn to prayer, I turn to trying to like do things to better myself, to be a good Jew, a good human, and really truly believing that God has a plan for me and this just wasn't the plan. And it's really interesting talking about it, and I came to this realization like a few days ago. So like I said, I was seeing someone. It was very brief, and honestly, I like I was saying, I'm really fine. Like I'm really okay. But I had the thing that I hated most about my situation was this person was from my past. He reached out again. We briefly spoke like a few years ago, and he reached out again. And at the time that he reached out again, I was in such an amazing place. I was so happy with my life. I was solo traveling. I was really, truly putting all my energy into believing that whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen and the good is coming. And focusing on that, focusing on living my best life with my friends because knowing what was supposed to come was coming really soon and just putting all of my belief in that. And my friends can even tell, like, attest, like, I was in such a positive mindset and such a positive place. My therapist can attest, like, everyone. I was doing so well with myself. And the thing, after this situation ended, the thing that sucked the most was that I was back in this, like, negative, down bad place.
Yeah.
Like, it had nothing to do with the guy. Okay, fine, he wasn't my guy. Like, he was a nice guy. He didn't meet what I needed from him. And we move on. It was a few weeks of my life. Fine. But what I really, really hated was that it set me back so much in my progress. And I think in the past, like 2 weeks, I've actually been having, I know I say it every episode, I'm always looking for podcast guests, which I am. And every time I talk to people, I'm always looking for podcast guests. So, but in the past like 2 weeks, Blia and Hara, I've had like an influx of people coming to me, whether it's strangers who I've never met before, who are messaging me, who are listeners, or people in my network or people I've met who are like, oh, yeah, I would come on the podcast. And I really do believe that this is God showing me that, like, okay, it didn't work out in your dating life, but I'm still looking out for you. And because I was in a good place before I met this guy, but at the same time, I also was thinking about, oh, I probably need to like wrap the podcast up. I'm really running out of people. I've exhausted my network, I've exhausted everyone, and it's probably time to wrap up the podcast because, like, I don't know where to get more guests anymore.
Oh, I can
But
find you some people.
oh, awesome.
Here in London, yeah.
And like, so, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, this didn't work out in my dating life, but I really believe that it's honestly been the strangest thing because it really has been in the last like week, 2 weeks. I've had so many people message me. I met people over Shabbat, and people who I have met before or are friends with have messaged me like or told me like, "Oh, hey, like I think I do want to come on the podcast." And I really believe that it's God showing me that he is looking out for me. There is a plan. It's just not the right time and this wasn't the right person. But something is coming.
Listen, it's never comfortable having, I don't know who finished it between you two, whether it was you or with him, but whoever finishes it, an end of a relationship is still sad, whatever happens, and however long it's been. And it's like, I discussed this with my co-author actually, that it's like, and she didn't like the analogy, but I stick with it firmly because she comes from a different life experiences to me. She's been married for 50 odd years. And for me, I see it as a scar. And, we all have scars. We carry our scars, which is our baggage and
Yeah.
whatever, and life lessons that we've had. And whenever they're like picked at, however small that little pick of that scab is, it's still a little pick at it and it's going to affect us. It's up to us how much we allow it to affect us. So I think as well, you learn from those experiences. And so next time, should it happen again, you take that time to pour in the self-love back into you. Do things that are good for you, good for your soul, even just going out and buying some new makeup or buying a new dress or, going to exercise, just something that's just focusing on you and pouring back in the love into yourself so that you don't focus on the bad. But I do, like I said, I do feel like we have these little things that eat away at rejection, at self-worth, and all those things where you feel you've put everything into trying to make something work, like even like the people pleasing and doing things that you might not feel. And then you get cross with yourself as well because you've tried to make things fit. And so it's like my mum used to say, oh, there's a lid for every saucepan when she was talking about people getting married. She used to say to me, there's a lid for every saucepan. And I just see it now as a saucepan, but the lid doesn't quite fit on it. And we can't make it fit. If it's not fitting, if it doesn't align with you, you have to let it because you've got to put a value on yourself.
Yeah.
Don't like you don't want to compromise yourself. You
Yeah.
know, I- and I think as well when you're a little bit older as well, you get more set in your ways and also as to what you are willing to accept and what you're not. And I think that's why there's so many single people post-divorce
Yeah.
because they've had the experience of what they're prepared to accept. I've got a male friend and I joke with him, he's Jewish, and I call him Shallow Hal. And he says, yeah, I am Shallow Hal. I said, you just want a gym bunny, like, dark Israeli kind of look with like a tiny little figure and long dark hair. And he says, I can't help it. That's who I am. But in a way, I admire him because he's not prepared to compromise on what he wants. So, but he's still single.
I do think with certain things you have to compromise a little bit. Like in his like being shallow, like, okay, how old are you gonna get where you still want like someone who the only thing you're looking for is what they look like? Like, I'm just saying, unless you're a billionaire, if you're 60 years old, no woman in their 30s wants to date you. Like,
Oh yeah, we've been through all that. I said, that unless you've got a bulging wallet, like literally, they're not going to be. Then and there's an equally shallow person on the other side of it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's his bag. That's his lesson. That's what he's here to learn. You know,
yeah.
because looks don't last. It's personality and. For me now, I'm looking for a friendship as well as everything else. Everything else has to, be ticked as well. You've got to fancy someone and want to be with them. But like I was saying, you want your best friend as well.
Yeah, and I don't know, I guess we're dating at different life stages. Like you had your kids, you have your grandchildren, you're looking for someone to close out the last few chapters of your life with. I'm looking for someone who is going to be a good partner, is going to be a good father, is hopefully going to do all the ending chapters with me, but like there's still some very crucial chapters in the middle that like I'm looking for someone who can handle. And it's amazing because it's so hard to find it. Like,
No, and like I said, as you go through life and people be married like 20, 30 years, you're not the same person when you stood under the chuppah at 21 to when you are when you're 51. You're going to be different. You would have grown, you would have both grown. And you either grow together or you grow apart, but you grow and evolve and you become different people. And what you were saying before, I wrote about that in my book, Swipe Right, because at your age as well, you're looking for someone, and that goes to the attraction as well, because you're looking for someone who's not only a good husband but a potentially a good father and what his genes like, because it's human instinct. It's that animal instinct. Like animals do it as well. They're looking for a match genetically for their kids, for their offspring. So and whilst as humans, we're doing the same thing. Obviously, it changes as you get older. You're not looking for that because you've had your children, but you're looking for you know, I don't know really. What are we looking for? We're looking for that soulmate. Does that soulmate exist, you know? I
Yeah.
look at I often talk to my friends and like when I look back at all the people that would have come to my wedding when I got married, like in 1987, do I say that year? Most of them are not together anymore.
Wow.
Everyone is divorced.
Wow.
Only a handful that are still together. And it is kind of sad, but
Yeah.
that's how it is. And we're just going around in circles. But listen, no one wants to compromise. Like for me, I like to think I had a good marriage, but and I don't want to settle for less than what I had before. So I'd rather be single and be independent and know who I am and respect myself rather than be with someone for the sake of it. And I see that all the time. I see so many women, they come to me for readings as well. And one story I had in my first book, Spirit Scandal Sparkly Shoes, I had a lady, I must tell you, a Jewish girl, and I never joined anyone on Facebook or anything before a reading because I don't want to know anything about you. I literally have to have that clean palette. And I had this lady, and we were working together, and I was talking about her relationships, and she broke down because I knew where she was in her marriage, and she said, I really don't know whether I want to leave him or not. I can't. I don't know if I can afford to leave him, and I hate him. I want to stick pins in his eyes, she said to me. This is the chapter's name. The chapter is called I want to call Stick Pins in His Eyes. And I said, look, if you're that unhappy, I can never tell you what to do, but you need to review your life, And I gave her some tips that I did however many years it was. I mean, it was obviously I was in a different place then. And it's funny that you were saying that the universe sends you the people. I'd just gone through my divorce. So the universe kept sending me all these divorced women or women that should get divorced. God was sending me all these women that needed empowering or whatever. Anyways, going back to the story. So I said to her, it's up to you what you do. And then she added me on Facebook after the reading as a friend. And about a week later, I was scrolling as you do. And here's me and hubby in Marbella, like in Spain, all loved up with her husband, like kissing, like holding and hugging and like all loved up. With Facebook and Instagram, it's all a bloody lie anyway. So anyway, she's all loved up, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, last week you wanted to stick pins in his eyes. And it's like there are so many women that just stay, and men. Oh my God, sorry. Men that stay in relationships. They're not even sleeping in the same bedroom as their partners. Like it's all for show. And that when I say to people, even last night I went out for dinner, I was introduced to some people and I had said, oh, I walked away from a 28-year marriage, and they said, oh, you're brave. When I left my husband, everyone said to me, you're brave. And I think that there are a lot of people not living their truth, and it's important to live your truth.
Yeah. It's it's funny because there are all these studies that are coming out now, and I don't know how many of them are actually accurate, saying that the happiest people are married men and single childless women. That
Really?
yeah, that single women are in general happier like being single, and men are happier in a marriage.
Listen, oh, I know a lot of unhappy men, and some of them hit on you as well. Oh, and don't let me go into the thing about you don't get invited around for dinner anymore when you're single. And when after a
Oh,
few years I had to point that out to a couple of friends, like, oh, I don't think I ever went round for Shabbat dinner or anything like that. That all stopped when I was single.
really?
Yeah.
That's so tough. I mean, granted, I live in a young professional community with a lot of singles. I have a lot of friends who are married and they're still my friends, but it's true. Definitely the people I hang out with more, definitely the people who have been there for me more are my friends who are single and my friends who live in my neighborhood who I see. We do Shabbat meals together. Like this whole breakup thing that happened this week, like I feel like weird calling it a breakup because I don't know. I think the whole way it ended, it wasn't a real breakup. It's just an ending. But those were the friends who checked in on me. The ones who live here. Like I texted them. One of them's like, "We're going to get." When it happened, I texted, and she's like, "We're going to get froyo right now." And my other friends who I texted are like, "Okay, let's make plans. Let's do this. Let's go out to dinner. Let's hang out." Like those were the friends who were here there for me. Like, yeah, I told my married friends. It's sometimes I tell them things and I feel like they treat it as their entertainment instead of like actually being my friend and taking care. Like, not that I need to be taken care of, but it would be nice to get a text message like, "Oh, how are you doing this morning? Like, how are you feeling today?" And granted, not all my single friends send those, even though I do try to be the one who does that for other people. But I don't,
Let me tell
it's,
you, Rachel, let me tell you, Rachel, I was a wonderful friend to have when I was married and had a lovely home in Spain for my friends to come and hang out with their
yeah,
husbands or on their own for a girly trip. When you get divorced, it's like, oh, everyone's invited around to the sukkah, but not me. Like, because what is it? Because I'm single. In fact, one of my single friends got told by this one particular mutual friend that when she got divorced, she was said, look, don't expect to be invited around for dinner anymore. Like, as anyone would think, like, we're interested in their, you know,
that's so crazy.
like, well, we're interested in their bald husbands. Like, really? Like,
No.
no. And I would never do that to a friend anyway. Like,
Yeah.
but it's very, very interesting. So yeah, I've got some of my friends are my oldest friends, like, like even from school days. But I have found, and I think this is relevant to this Jewish podcast as well. I don't know about what it's like your side, stateside, but definitely here in the Jewish community, I've still got some married friends, but slowly they are slipping by. They don't really understand the heartbreak, the broken relationships. They've forgotten what it's like to be single out there.
Yeah.
Doing it the first time round. Can you imagine having to do it the second time round? I mean, I never
Yeah.
thought that I would be doing it again. And for them, a lot, as you said, a lot of it is entertainment. My friends, I got one particular friend, and we get on so well. Like, we're so honest with each other. But she actually said to me, "Look, we'll wait till you've been going out with someone for at least 6 months before we do like a dinner date together, because like my husband's getting confused with all their names."
Oh my gosh. See, like,
But
it's,
it's a little bit of an undertone there, like,
yeah, it's like, okay, I am grateful
let's scratch the scab, let's scratch the scab that I haven't, I've been divorced like a few years now and I haven't found the right one. So let's have and it's like a little pick at that scab.
yeah, it's, I will say a lot of my friends are supportive. And when I was seeing someone, he was very much pushing me to like meet my friends. I was just kind of doing whatever to appease and like, which is so not me, but I was like, I guess. So when I talked to my married friends about it, they were open to meeting him. Like at the end of the day, I do believe they genuinely want what's best for me. But I think they're which is crazy. Like you're talking about your friends who have probably been married for 30 plus years. My friends have been married for like maybe 5 years. Like,
Yeah. And I just want to just make that clear, actually. I'm talking about one or two in particular
yeah,
that those friendships have just waned, because you know who your friends are. And I have had many, many good friends who were amazing shoulders you know, to depend on, to not depend on, but to be there for me, in tough times. Whereas when I look at it, who was there for an ulterior motive? It's sad.
yeah. And I don't know. I'm not on here saying, like, if any of my friends are listening, I'm not saying that I don't think you care. It's just sometimes it's hard. Like, I'm literally expressing everything that I'm feeling to you. And I don't know, you could at least text me the next day and say, "Are you feeling better this morning? Like, how are you doing?" But no, and I don't know, I feel like I check in on them. I ask how their kids are and all of that. And if this is what it's gonna, I mean, God willing, I'm gonna find my person, and I'm not gonna be this stage of life isn't forever. I really do believe that. But if it was, I don't understand. I still try to take interest in my friends' lives, even if they're in a very different place in life than I am. But to me, it just is really hard when it seems like the only reason they take interest in my life is because they need some gossip and entertainment. Like, no, I'm a person. My life is hard. Like, being single is hard. Like, yes, I love my life. I have a lot of fun. I do a lot of fun things with friends. I'm in my 30s. I have a good job. I'm able to like take cool vacations and do cool things. And I don't have the financial responsibility of a partner and kids and all of those things. So, yeah, in a way, I do have freedom. But also, everything comes down to me. I'm the one who has to pay my bills. I'm the one who has to support myself emotionally, financially, in every possible way. Like I'm the one that I have to rely on. I don't have a partner. And if I want to do things with other people, that's so much emotional energy to put out there in cultivating these friendships with people. And I had a situation where I was friends with a person. I knew that they really didn't have any care for me deeply, but they were fun to be around. We like doing the same things, but it gets exhausting to keep up these fake friendships where the person, you know for a fact the person does not care about you. It's really hard to like keep this up, but you're just doing it so you have people to do stuff with, so you're not always alone. Like, it's people who aren't single don't understand any of that. That, like,
And it's the same at the other end of the scale
yeah,
with me. It's learning who your friends are and who genuinely care about you. The ones who are listen and the ones who are on the other end of the phone. Like some of them are like be really good listeners, and then you won't hear from them to check in on you. Like, really? Like, why did you bother like listening? Like if you're not even interested, like how I'm coping, you
yeah,
know? So yeah, I get that. I get that. It's hard. They're all tough lessons, aren't they?
yeah. But it's all a lesson, and God willing, when everything turns out in life, I don't know, maybe it's a whole different group of people who I envisioned as my bridesmaids 5, 6, 10 years ago that are going to be there later this year or next year, hopefully.
Friendships change, we go in cycles and friendships change, and you also find that you'll have children at different ages, so I've got friends that we all had children at different ages, and there's one or two actually that even though we don't speak very often, I know that what she can phone me any time of the day or night and I would be there for her.
Yeah,
But it's finding out who your true friends are, and it's only when you go through divorce or go through, difficult times. And the friend who made that joke about, we're not double dating with you until you've been out with someone for 6 months. I mean, she did say it very tongue in cheek, and I love her dearly. But, there are some that actually, yeah, you wouldn't even want to integrate them into your life in that respect.
yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. I think this would be a good time to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors. So we will be right back. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Are you tired of swiping on dating apps? Tired of guessing whether the cute guy or girl you keep seeing around is Jewish and or single? Then you need to run, not walk to join Corona Crush. Corona Crush is a Jewish organization working to create Jewish couples always. Corona Crush has over 30 confirmed engagements, over 22,000 members from all over the world, and has set up over 50,000 speed dates. Join the Corona Crush Facebook group and post yourself or have a friend post you and see who reaches out. Fill out the survey to sign up for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. Corona Crush is 100% free and 100% Jewish. Worst case, you end up with some stories of your own. Best case, you find the love of your life. Try it out today. Here on Sticky Situations, we tend to focus on bad dating stories, but sometimes dates do go well and lead to proposals and weddings. Who would have thought? And what do all of those require, you might be asking? Well, the answer is flowers. Who doesn't want flowers from someone they've been seeing? Don't forget, flower petals and bouquets needed for proposals. And that's even before all the flowers that go into weddings. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Primrose Flower Shop. In my opinion, Primrose is the coolest flower shop around and has the best customer service to fulfill all of your floral needs. Primrose offers a range of services from your basic bouquets to subscription services where you can get flowers delivered once a week. They deliver all over the tri state area, including Manhattan. Primrose does weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and other simchas. I've personally been to a wedding where Primrose did the flowers, and the work they did was beyond gorgeous. Primrose additionally offers in store proposals, including a romantic setup with candles and music. Primrose is located at 2922 Avenue M in Brooklyn, and the phone number is 929 376 9815. You can also follow Primrose on Instagram at PrimroseNY. So, if you can't get someone out of your head, buy them some flowers from Primrose. They'll either love it or they'll find you really creepy. But regardless, the flowers will be out of this world. Okay, we're back, everybody. Bev, do you have more stories that you wanted to tell?
More stories. I think you must have to get this book, Swipe Right, the Kosher Medium Goes
Oh, I
Dating.
definitely have to get the book.
Um, okay, well there's another funny one. You know you have do you have Mother's Day in
Yeah.
America, don't you? Mother in Sunday. So I started talking to this guy, and yeah, he was really very interesting to talk to, intelligent conversation, and we spoke on the phone for quite some time, and we said we were gonna meet up. We hadn't actually met up yet, and he made some comments as well, like very sort of started to challenge me, and like when you start talking to someone, on the phone. It needs to be easy flow, doesn't it? You want to
Yeah.
hear about their life and they'll ask you questions about yours and you see if you align. And this guy started to get a little bit challenging, but I thought, no, ignore the red flag and whatever. So the next day was Mother's Day in the UK. And I was expecting, when I opened my phone, I was expecting to see a text from my kids saying Happy Mother's Day. And in fact, all I got was like, I'm sure you get them as well, like pictures of his nether regions, the dick
Oh
pic.
gosh.
And I thought it could only happen to me, Bev. Like Mother's Day, most normal women will get like texts from their kids or whatever, but no, I get that. And it was just really quiet. It did make me laugh. So what I did was I just had my first grandchild. And so I sent him a picture of me holding the baby. And he started like really laying into me. He really showed his true colors. I never knew you were so boring, Bev. Like obviously he thought he was in instigate like some sort of sex conversation and whatever,
Hmm.
um, as some do. And I had retaliated by sending a complete innocent photograph of me and the kids. And then got really starting to pull me apart as a person. And that's
Which
when
is
I just
crazy. Like, that's
I know.
crazy.
And that's when I was like, we hadn't even met. And I said, you know what? You might be well endowed, but you're the worst. You are like the most difficult person, and I'm not looking for a difficult person in my life. So goodbye. And that was it. Blocked. Pushed the
Yeah.
button.
Also,
Oh,
like, he sent that unsolicited and then got mad when you didn't respond. Like, what is wrong with these guys?
like, oh,
Like,
accuse me of being boring. And like, I am anything but boring. I am
yeah.
very liberal minded. And like, I was just trying to make light of it, like if anyone picked up my phone, like, but
No, he showed his true colors. I'm just shocked that he gave you so much pushback. Like,
oh my God, the pushback was incredible. Like So, I was actually even giving him like a long leash about it. I was like, saying, like, trying to justify myself. And I'm thinking, here's a complete, like, dick. Like, why am I justifying myself, over this guy? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I could literally plaster a wall with those photographs. I could make a great collage,
Oh my
Rachel.
gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, the book is really like there are a lot of stories, there are a lot of spiritual stories about as well, like how I met guys, that how I needed to solve spiritual stories. And so there are an array of different stories. Some of them are funny and some of them are not so funny, but it's just entertaining. And like even now, I have a funny incident and I say, oh, I could write a book about my dating experiences. I thought, oh, I already have. Like, what am I talking about? I've already done it, but I've got enough material for another one, but I don't know if I will do it. But I've gone to all different, I've gone abroad for dates as well. I've been abroad for a date before,
Oh,
honestly.
wow. Like
Um,
you went just to go on the date, or you just happened to be abroad and went on a date?
both, but more to follow in another, and perhaps in another story, in another talk that we do or another book.
Okay.
There's lots of things in the making at the moment. But I always say, like, because I do believe, like, when you're swiping as well, and sorry, guys, but you do look at the pictures. You're not really interested in what us girls have got to say, whereas all the women are like poring over every single word that they say and like seeing if it works for them. And like, I think the guys just swipe as to whether they would or they wouldn't, kind of thing. And so I stopped putting like this about myself so much, and my resume has got 3 words: spiritual, quirky, and fun. And that's all I write because I think that just about sums me up. And also, I like always tell guys what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got to quickly put this funny story in. So
Sure.
I thought, why don't I try, obviously in the interests of my book, when I was writing my book, I tried speed dating in London. So we went to the city of London, my friend and I phoned my friend and I said, you fancy, let's do it, we'll have a laugh. And she's thought about it for literally 10 seconds and said, yeah, come on, what trouble are you going to get me into now? So we went speed dating. And one guy I was talking to, like you get like 3 minutes or something with each person. And one guy said to me, I think he was a little bit merry by the time he got to me. And I always like say, ask people what they do, not because I'm money orientated or anything, but it gives me an idea of who they are, what their values are, etc. And so I said, oh, what do you do? He goes, oh, I'm an astronaut. So I said, oh,
Interesting.
really? And he goes, well, what do you do? And I said, oh, I talk to dead people. So he goes, oh, yeah, really? And he's like laughing. And I go, yeah, I do. I really do. I'm a medium. And like, oh, okay. Like, he was like really sheepish after that. I thought, well, hopefully that taught him something. Be
Yeah.
careful what you say to someone.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more question. And if it's too like personal or you can't answer it, then totally fine. Have you, because you can talk to people, I'm assuming in your own life also who have passed and can see you can see things. Do you know what's going to happen in your own future?
God, I wish I did. Oh my God, like give me £1 million or give me $1 million. Oh, that's $1 million question. I just wish I wouldn't be doing all this swiping if I if I had the answer to that question. I mean, sometimes like I have a client that'll come to me and I always say if it's coming from my own mind, it's not true. But if I get it wrapped up in a message for someone, like from their spirit friend or parents, and I feel it so strongly in my bones, then I will say it. And if it comes from them, so if it comes from Bev Mann's mind, um, then I don't feel like I would want to rely on it. But I know the difference when it's coming from the spirit world. And so I can get it right for other people. I don't,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but if their loved ones are going to give it to me, then I will give it to them. And I have people that come back to me and say, "Oh my God, whatever you said, like it may not make sense at the time." I had one woman came back to me and said, "Oh, you said something to me 8 years ago." And like she's every single thing that you said has come true.
Oh,
For myself, I'm a great believer in our thoughts create our reality and about the law of attraction and positive thinking. And I know, like, if I, we all think positive sometimes. Sorry, negative sometimes. We all think negative sometimes. But the trick is knowing when you're thinking negative and to turn it round, to stop it and then turn it into a positive. It's a bit like trying to open a pickle jar and you think, I'll never be able to open this. And you won't be able to open it because your mind has already told you that you're not going to be able to open the jar. So I put out all the time that I'm worthy and the right person, my right lid is going to come along for this saucepan and accept me for all my quirks and be the right person for me. So I'm very careful, like we said about our vibration and what vibration I'm putting out there. And we all have those horrible dark days. Um, and when we have those dark days, the more we get into the negative self-speak, the harder the day becomes. We have to snap out of it. So I take myself out for a walk or do something that will take me out of that mindset that nothing's going right for me at that particular moment in time and express gratitude for all the good things that I've got in my life, my home, my friends, my family, and how lucky I am in comparison to other people. My dad always used to say when he was here, if you put all your problems in the middle of a room, you would walk away with the same problems. You wouldn't want to pick up someone else's bag of troubles. And so it's about being grateful for what you have
yeah.
and just remind yourself yeah, I'm grateful for what I have and I know that there is a higher plan for me and I'm going to have everlasting happiness.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
And if you don't put it out there and you don't believe in it, then what chance has any man coming along or any woman coming along if you are a negative person? Who wants a negative person?
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree with you.
You want someone who's 100% got your back, like you would 100% have their back. And you want to have someone that's going to enhance your life, like you asked me before as well. What am I looking for? I want, we all don't need a man, or a man doesn't need a woman, maybe for their washing or whatever. But
I'm
um,
not doing his washing.
yeah, but we don't need somebody in our life because we are enough on our own. But what we're looking for is someone to enhance our life. And I'd love someone to enhance my life and make it even better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree and I think I hope that we both find it and I'm gonna say I know we will both find it.
I was going to say, don't hope,
No, we know. I
you know,
know
you
I know
know.
that we're both gonna find what we're looking for. It just takes the time and God has a plan.
Exactly. And if doors don't open, guys, don't get upset about it. It's like they were stayed shut for a reason.
Yes. Yes.
Better doors to come. Believe it.
Yes. Amen.
Create the
Yes.
doors. You know what? We can even do. I'm a great advocate as well. I think actually you give me an idea for a workshop because I've been working on workshops, and one of them would be to visualize doors opening.
Oh wow. Yeah, that it's a good idea. I'm gonna keep it in my mind and hopefully dream about doors
Well, if I
opening
do,
and
yeah. Well, if anyone wants to contact me and do like because as I said, a lot of my work is on Zoom. I've done a lot
hmm
of workshops on Zoom. And I'm going to be working very much inspirationally, like that idea is just coming from speaking to you. So I'd quite like to do a workshop where we visualize those doors closing, that the ending of chapters and new ones opening. So if anyone is interested in working with me, either on a one-to-one or in a group situation, or want me to come and do a little workshop for them, I'm also quite good at hopping on a plane as well.
I'll link all of Bev's information and please guys reach out to her and hopefully she can help you in what you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my website address is easy. It's bevman.com, so you can find me in all the things that I'm able to offer people.
Yeah. So Bev, I'm gonna link Bev's website also in the show notes and feel free to reach out to her. Bev, is there anything else you wanted to share before we move on to the wrap up segment?
Just be the best version of yourself, the
Yeah.
one that you love, and not someone else is trying to get you into the box that they need because your box might not align with their box. You don't need anyone else to enhance your life if they don't align with you. Just let it go. Don't hold on to someone just for the sake of it because like you were saying, Rachel, the truth will come out or it just won't work. Round pegs don't go into square holes.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be proud of who you are, with or without someone.
Yeah. It's it's sometimes it can be hard, but you just have to what I do is you can really fake it until you make it. If you just like keep saying like, "Oh no, I'm great. I'm great. I'm great," and working on yourself to become that, I think you actually do believe it. Like you just have to keep telling it to yourself and then you will believe it. And I think that actually does work. If anybody's struggling to get that self-confidence and self-worth, just start saying it, even
Well,
if you don't
that's
believe
what
it.
I want to, yeah, and that's what I'm really working on with people. That's what I know my work is going. And I know that God gave me all those difficult lessons through marriage and stuff that happened to me. I know that I had those lessons because they were for a higher reason. So I can help other people
Yeah.
who have gone through similar things. And what I've learned, what's the point in knowledge if you can't pass it on? And that's what I want to
Yeah. And that's beautiful. It's really special and important. But
do.
okay, Bev, so I know we just gave a lot of advice and been giving advice throughout, but can you give me and my listeners one piece of dating advice?
One thing that I would always say is be yourself because everybody else is taken. And I love that expression.
I
Everybody
love
else
it.
is taken. You can only be yourself. Don't try to conform to fit with someone else's expectations of who you are. You are plenty good enough. You're beautiful enough inside and out. You don't need to pretend to be anyone but yourself because you want someone to love you. Beauty does not always last, but who you are inside, that's what counts. And if someone does not value you or you know doesn't see your true worth, then that's fine. You're plenty good enough on your own. You know, just know that love starts from within and you've got to learn to love yourself first. And I think when you're ready and you've done that journey, because there's always a lot of healing work to be done, and it's not always about relationships. It could be to do with family life. It can come with you from past lives. Once you've been on that self-healing journey and you've worked on yourself, like I've had to work on myself, and then that's when the doors start opening. And when Hashem sees that you're ready for the love that you deserve, then that's when it's going to flow to you. But you have to be ready.
Yeah, that's really good. It's really nice. And yeah, it's good advice for people. And then Bev, last but not least, do you have your tagline?
I'd like to say that I've always been mediumship from the heart, but I feel like this is very much healing from the heart. So if you ask me my tagline now, in this current moment in time, this chapter in my life will be healing from the heart because that's what I've been doing and that's what I want to help other people to heal themselves as well and to know that they are lovable for exactly who they are.
It's great. I think it's really good. And I hope that it continues and you're able to help all these other people heal and just continue with all of it.
Thank you. Like I said, I just want to take people on that healing journey. And I think because of the work that I do, most of my work, even when I'm doing workshops, mediumship workshops, all my work comes inspirationally to me. So I know that they, whoever they are, will help guide me for each individual person, whether you're doing something in a group situation or a one-to-one, they will be guided. I remember once I had a lady who came to me for a reading. I was in America actually. I was in Boston and a lady came to me and she was so quite full of herself and like I am and I'm a top salesperson, this, that, and the other. And we started doing a reading and stuff was coming through like from her father in the spirit. And she was, when push came to shove, she was just an emotional wreck because she hadn't healed from her early days growing up as a child and not feeling good enough. And in the end, I had to stop the reading and go into a healing session with her,
Oh, wow.
which was done through taking her through a meditation and helping her heal. And all that came to me was inspired through my mind, through spirit. And so I do believe that you are, if anyone feels actually inspired to connect with me, it's because they were meant to listen to this podcast at this time, because it's a sign that they need that help. And they're, like I said earlier, they're led to the right person.
Wow. Yeah. So if anyone listening to this podcast feels that they need that, please connect with Bev. Her information is going to be in the show notes. And Bev, this has been such a great episode. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing about your work and your personal stories. It's been really amazing to have you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed speaking with you and I've really enjoyed this session. And I really do hope that someone picked up a golden nugget, whatever it can be. Maybe they're waking up to their spirituality. Like maybe they find that they can connect with spirit, because I find most people can anyway. Or there's something that I've said in my dating life, or something that will help empower them to find their self-worth or their healing journey, then I'm grateful that I'm able to do that.
Yeah. So thank you again, Bev. And Sticky Situation Nation, you'll catch me next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.